Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Looking for some hot takes on the Lodgecast. I need phone counts and library rights. I want some hot takes in my eardrums. Watch out for salad dragons. These takes are coming in hot tonight. I want some hot takes. I need your hot takes.
Welcome to a Palm Springs-tastic episode of Hot Takes. I'm your Lodge Master. With me, as always, is Brother Bishki.
Don't you worry, child.
We got Brother Lucas in the back seat.
Cheer up, Charlie.
And we have, once again, the illustrious Lodge Mistress Millie.
Hey, hey.
We are deep underground in Burbank in the Red Dragon tonight. We saw Don't Worry, Darling in IMAX.
DWD, IMX.
Why the fuck did we see this in IMAX? Why is it in IMAX? Just because it looks good?
Yeah, it's big. It's a big movie.
Supposed to be big prestige movie.
Feels like a movie.
It does.
A movie
like
we
a
should go
movie
see.
we should go see. Yeah. So we'll keep this relatively brief, but the main thing that people know about this movie is the behind the scenes controversies, and we don't need to belabor them too much because people have been reading about them and going on and on and on about them for forever now.
There's memes about it.
To the point where
There are memes.
we all were just like, this movie just needs to come out. Just put it out of its misery and release it. And, say what you will about all the ins and outs. I still say Spitgate is real. I will not be convinced otherwise. I saw it with my own eyes. Thank you very much.
So who spit on who again?
It was Harry Styles spitting on Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
As he was sitting back down into his seat. You look at Chris Pine's face, it tells you everything you need to know. The man has been spat upon. Nothing will ever tell me different. So anyway, without further ado.
How do you get the protein as quick as possible into the bloodstream? A little schnapps.
All right, I got a long one here, guys. Rotten Tomatoes.
This is a hot take.
I know. I'm going to read it as fast as I can. Alice and Jack are lucky to be living in the idealized community of Victory, the experimental company town housing the men who work for the top secret Victory Project and their families. The 1950s societal optimism espoused by their CEO, Frank, equals parts corporate visionary and motivational life coach. Anchors every aspect of their daily life in the tight-knit desert utopia. While the husbands spend every day in the Victory Project headquarters working on the development of progressive materials, their wives, including Frank's elegant partner, Shelley, get to spend their time enjoying the beauty, luxury, and debauchery of their community. Life is perfect with every resident's needs met by the company. All they ask in return is discretion and unquestioning commitment to the Victory cause. But when the cracks in their idyllic life begin to appear, exposing flashes of something more sinister lurking behind the attractive facade, Alice can't help questioning exactly what they're doing in Victory and why. Just how much is Alice willing to lose to expose what's really going on in this paradise? Question mark.
Well read,
Wow, Bishki.
Really well read.
Done. Thank you for powering through it because I don't know if I could have listened to the whole thing in real time.
Narrated by me.
There's so much unnecessary flotsam and jetsam in that fucking schnapps.
Oh,
You don't need that
It's
much.
a perfect metaphor for the movie.
Amen.
Listen to this, folks.
Amen.
Listen to this, folks. So there's a lot of Harry Styles super fans in the theater. A lot of teenage girls and 20-year-old girls in there seeing what's going on. And I mean, what was your guys's and lady
Thank you.
exposure to Mr. Styles up until this
I
point?
have no idea who he is. I don't
Nothing
think I've ever
really.
seen his face.
Zero.
I know he's in One Direction. That's about all I know. Yeah.
Okay.
He was the quiet one in Dunkirk, who I don't think uttered a single line.
And now he is
Shouting up a storm.
possibly one of the biggest male pop stars
Yeah.
in the world. Is that safe to say?
I guess Watermelon Sugar is a big song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is his big starring role debut, I think. What do we think of the performances overall?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think Florence Pugh is the revelation here.
Well, she's the one to be cast for this role. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, she is great. Like
and her accent is amazing.
Yeah, she's British, but you would never know. Like
Styles, thankfully, doesn't try to
no
do
need to make him do that.
straight American.
And Milster and I, we're always looking for accents. We're looking for swallowed, squelched, stuffed down accents, and I love how they come out in different ways. And the Brits, God love them, so many of them can do impeccable American accents. But they have those little flaws, and it's usually anything and everything you can tell because they say anything and everything. And the high wire act gets even more dangerous if they're shouting,
screaming.
if they're screaming, if they're mad.
Yeah.
So they might, if they're whispering, they'll be like, I have given you everything. But if they're yelling, it's, I have given you everything. And you can tell. So with her, you can't tell shit.
Yeah, no, I didn't know she was
She's completely British
until she went on this rant on Instagram about Zach Braff and a British accent. I was like, oh, she's British. Okay.
She was dating Braff for a while, and the internet was not having it. We're not having it. And so she came on and was like,
it's none of your business.
I'm really disappointed in all of you. Yeah. So anyway, Olivia Wilde directs and has kind of a meaty role in this as one of the ladies on the cul-de-sac. Nick Kroll, who
has the best moment in the entire movie, a little salad crouton.
You want to call it?
Yes.
Call it.
Salad crouton.
So when we meet these folks, they're these swinging hepcap couples
Drinking like fishes.
out in Palm Springs. Yeah, think like the Rat Pack. And Nick Kroll is like the husband to Olivia Wilde. And there's a scene where they're at Chris Pine, who's their boss's house, for like a party. But they're waiting for Chris Pine to show up. And the new guy, the new hire, the young employee is like, gosh, golly, like, where is this guy? Like, I'm tired of waiting for him or something. And Nick Kroll's like, hey, you're in his house. And there's like this moment where he's like, he's staring daggers like through the actor, like so dialed in, like there's nothing funny about it, but it's just funny because it's Nick Kroll being like so fucking serious.
I mean, Nick Kroll, for my money, is one of the funniest people working today. But there's nothing funnier than when he's trying to be serious. Like when he's trying to be serious, he's way funnier just because the look on his face, and you're like, I'm not buying it, but good on you.
It's so good.
Let's talk Pine. Is the last time old Piney graced our Lodgecast, was it A Wrinkle in Time?
No.
I believe so.
A Wrinkle in Pine?
Yeah, you can correct it if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to look into it.
Was he the dad?
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
the dad?
No, Pine is like the cult. He's Frank. He's the
leader of the
Oh,
cult.
no, I'm talking about Wrinkle in Time.
Oh yeah, he's the dad.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he plays the father in A Wrinkle in Time, and yeah, I don't think we've seen him since then. So this is a homecoming for old Piney.
Yeah.
What do we think of him?
Liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of read ahead of time that he was based on Jordan Peterson, which plenty to satirize there. I don't know if the movie nails it really.
If the dear listener has not heard of Jordan Peterson, oh boy,
go down a rabbit hole.
Go mess up your YouTube algorithm looking up that guy.
Because he will show up constantly, even if you don't watch his videos.
We'll talk about him a little bit later.
Yeah.
But what do we think about the visuals? I mean, the reason we're in the IMAX is because it looks great.
Yeah, it's Matthew Libatique. He shot A Star Is Born. He's shot many great films. One of the best cinematographers. So it looks great. Production design is outstanding.
It's all top shelf.
Yeah, it's all prestige. Like it looks set up to be
slick.
A very solid prestige movie. That's the setup.
That's the setup.
And I love that shot of the cars all driving in the desert into that towards that
It's the very definition of a handsomely mounted production.
Yeah.
Did it make you guys want to go to MacGuffin's and get like 9 drinks?
Yeah, I like the opening scene too. I mean, I didn't think it was really actually correct for this film, but I did like the opening scene with all the ladies they were kind of doing that competition where they had the trays on their head and it kind of set it up as very boozy and sexy, and it was cool. It was good.
It's one of the booziest movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
They are constantly drinking. So that leaves us with the story. This is a setup we've seen so many times.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's done well so many times.
It's been done really well so many times. You're in a kind of strange society that you don't really know all the rules, but the rules are strict and we're learning about them. We're learning what you can and what you can't do. There's a mystery afoot. There's one person that is starting to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this countless times.
Stepford Wives, Truman Show, Dark City. I don't know. You can just there's tons of influences.
It goes on and on.
Yeah.
What you need to do then, in my opinion, is bring some new shit to it. You need to be showing us shit that we've never seen. You need to be shocking us. You need to just be doing something to propel it forward.
Yeah, be commenting on it, make it a social satire. I think like movie like Pleasantville, which kind of riffed on 50s era.
Right.
Something, bring some ideas to the board instead of just characters freaking out that reality's not what it seems.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Pick a different era or switch the gender dynamics. Like, do something new. I'm sure the gender dynamics have been switched before, maybe, but at least that I haven't seen a million times.
And it's like they obviously have so much to work with in this premise, you know, and we're going to get to why you would possibly have even more to work with. But it's like they have a mansion full of toys to play with.
Yeah.
But they never get out of the guest bathroom.
Yeah. They got the budget. They got the acting.
They got the acting.
So why are we just hanging out for most of it?
It's bad vibe hangout movie for sure. For sure. It's very repetitive.
It moves so slow.
Circular.
So slow.
Like I was just itching to get out of there by the end because it wasn't going anywhere.
God. I was like, when does this end? I thought it was.
I was like, I wanted to go take so many bathroom breaks, but I didn't have to go. I'm just so bored.
I had to go for the second half.
Okay.
So we've been psychically transferring our bladders. But there were a couple glimmers of hope. There's some cunnilingus on the dinner table next to the roast that I thought was pretty well done. And there was another sexy scene in Chris Pine's bedroom where he's secretly watching them and she sees him watching them and he kind of gives a little shush and he zips out of there. I'm like, okay. I thought there was going to be like some wife swapping or a
love
triangle or something. And it seemed to be building that way when he was like, I see what you're doing and I like it.
Yeah.
I like that you're testing me. But that went precisely nowhere. Like, and you could have moved that way up. So what we get is just Pugh like slowly figuring out that she doesn't quite know what's going on. Like there's not even real concrete shit that she's pursuing. Like she sees this one woman supposedly kill herself.
That was giving me some Midsommar flashbacks of her looking up at someone about to drop.
But that's all that happens.
Yeah,
otherwise
just hallucination scene after hallucination scene, just repetitive.
And then it
Pugh
gets
freaking out.
Super repetitive when she's talking to Styles and she's just like, something's not right. So like I closed my eyes just because, not because I was tired, but just like I couldn't look at the same thing looping anymore.
No, it goes on for at least like an hour and a half like that.
That movie felt like it was 3 hours long. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah.
There is another little crouton when old Styles gets his
Those were my fave moments.
when he gets his promotion at this fucking Jazzapalooza party.
I already laugh.
And Pine's up there and he's just like, all right, let's see him dance. And he just
well, no, but before that, he took his coat off, which I thought was kind of sexy and creepy. And I was like, what is about to happen?
Yeah, I didn't
He took his dinner jacket off. And then he just let him take the dance floor.
And,
dance, monkey, dance.
And he's dancing while Pugh is in the bathroom flipping out. But they just keep cutting back to him, and Pine is just like riling up the crowd. He's like, yeah, this is what you want to see. And this is right after Dita Von Teese, they wheel her out to do something.
Oh, that was her? Okay.
I think.
Yes, I think it was too.
Okay.
And so, Styles is doing the jazz hands flipping around shit. And he just doesn't stop.
And Pine is literally saying, dance, dance.
Yeah.
You like that? You like him dancing? Well, he'll dance some more.
And Pine really sells it because you look at that man's face and it's like he feels like he's giving you the entertainment of the century. Yeah. And for the girls in the theater, it just may have been because they came for Harry.
Yes.
And
his dancing was great. Harry
was up there dancing. There's a lot of close-ups of Harry like snuggling with Florence face to face, So I hope they got everything that they wanted.
And I thought that he and Florence did have good sexy chemistry.
Yes, they did.
And I haven't seen that on screen in a while. I feel like it's always a little awkward, but they had good sexy chemistry and I was into it.
This movie gave me a little bit of hope for the sex scene. I don't know if it's because Olivia Wilde was taking an approach to it. Like, I don't know if it was just the chemistry or what, but something felt right about the sex scenes in this. Where, when's the last great sex scene you guys saw?
It was House of Gucci in The Office. Lady Gaga.
You're right.
And Adam Driver.
Actually, that is correct for different reasons.
Turned me on. That scene got to me.
There's some hope.
LT had that ready to go.
Yeah, I like it.
So, all of this to say, all roads lead to the salad dragon. Now this is the salad dragon.
This is the red pill you have to swallow.
This is a big one, guys.
This is the big one.
And to my own credit, I predicted this from basically the second scene.
Well, yeah.
So I'm not that special for
I don't know. I mean, it's just,
I think we all kind of knew where it was heading.
It had to be something or it was nothing.
Yeah.
Very well stated.
We've seen the movie Serenity.
We've seen the movie The Village.
The Village.
We've also seen many a Black Mirror.
Yes.
We know what's going to happen.
That Black Mirror episode.
Sam Shapiro, or however you say it, was...
Black Mirror puts this whole endeavor to shame.
Correct.
But anyway... The dragon is as follows.
Bishki, can you describe it for us?
Oh, you want me to? Okay.
Yes.
So Pugh is getting electroshock therapy.
Because she says to Styles that they need to leave and he fucking sells her out.
And he sells her out. So she gets taken to
Rosemary's
a hospital.
Baby.
Yes.
And then...
by these red-suited men.
Yeah, and so she's getting electroshock therapy. And then... I was a little confused about what happened, but she ends up in ER scrubs.
Yes.
And walks out of the hospital in a modern day hospital.
She checks her iPhone.
And checks her iPhone. So we're out of the world.
Yep.
And then we go home to Harry Styles. And he's got a scruffy beard.
Bad skin.
He's a little
incel.
Little incel on the computer.
He is creepy.
Yeah, he's got his chat windows open. He's listening to Jordan Peterson on
AKA Chris Pine.
AKA Chris Pine on YouTube.
The whole IMAX theater was fucking losing it when they when they realized
the bizarro Harry Styles. Like
long stringy hair.
Yeah, and then we get the VR reveal, which is like
it's
basically
funny.
like a Clockwork Orange, like open your eyelids and like and there's like a laser moving down your eye, and Pugh is just like in her constant state of
she's always in it
of VR.
She's restrained with bruises on her arms where she's obviously being fed by IV or something. She looks gross.
Yeah, and then Harry gets to come in and out of the VR,
because he has to go pay for it.
He has to go work to pay the VR off or something. So then he comes back at night and joins her in the Victory 50s utopia.
So it's like Palm Springs Matrix with
13th
floor and Village Chaser. And he is constantly listening to Chris Pine's character's podcast or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they listen to it in the world as well. It's like his radio program.
Yeah.
And that's where the Jordan Peterson stuff really connects, because Jordan Peterson, he is kind of like this bizarre Canadian daddy figure for incels.
Yeah.
Who is like basically always is telling him like, stand up straight, straighten out your back and clean your room.
Good impression.
Clean your room.
Make your bed. Yeah,
and he has since kind of,
well, he was kind of interesting at first. I was like, and then
virulently anti-trans.
Well, yeah,
as well.
But then he went to Russia. He got addicted to drugs, and now he's completely out of his mind.
Yes.
Just total right-wing grifter on the Daily Wire exclusively.
And he and his daughter espouse. They at least used to espouse an all-meat diet.
Yes, yeah,
only meat.
Yeah, she has a podcast basically where she just talks about eating meat constantly.
And so he got addicted to benzos and
almost died.
People thought he was dead, and he was in Russia getting treated. Anyway,
long story short,
fun character to research.
Fun character to satirize, I think, but this movie just doesn't.
It doesn't even scratch the surface.
It's so vague. It's so vague.
Oh, but it's funny that Styles is listening to him, and if you guys noticed, he has that From Russia with Love James Bond poster. He's American in real life, but in the virtual world, he wanted to be British, ostensibly to model himself after James Bond.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, I brought that together now. Okay.
So there, again, just like in the first half of the movie, there's plenty to play with. There, and this even widens it more. Like, it makes you think back to the first half of the movie, and it's like when she was just kind of moping around, wondering what was going on and getting vaguely creeped out. Think of all the crazy shit she could have seen that we would be like, oh, that's weird. And it would be like supernatural, unexplainable. Yeah. And then at the end, you're like, oh, because it's a simulation.
And that I did think was cool when that wall kind of moved in on her and her face was pressed
against the
glass.
That was the one time,
and,
where it felt like there was something, supernatural or really weird going on, when she's cleaning the window and the window smashes her against the wall.
But you got to tip even if it's predictable, you still have to tip the scales to the revelation. Like, you can't go an hour and a half of Pugh just having breakdowns,
just creeping around and breaking down. It's so boring. And the visuals only get you so far. Like sumptuous visuals, it's like eating candy is good for, the first 5 handfuls. And then it's, you need something else. You need to modulate, like you need to be able to chew on Jordan Peterson's meat, like you need real meat.
Yeah, I thought what was going to happen, but it didn't happen. And I was glad because I was ready to go. But I thought what was going to happen was that she was going to stay in that world. The woman was going to be, because she kills Pine. She kills her husband. The head lady kills her husband.
Right.
And then she's like, it's my turn now. And she turns the knife. And when she turns that knife, I felt it. It hurt. But anyway, so I thought she was going to take the world over, and it was going to be all the women,
right?
Who were going to
be like,
going to work, and then the men were taking care of them and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then Pugh was going to stay because she realized she needed her husband because he was dead. She kills him anyway. But and I thought she was going to be like, because he had that nice moment at the end where he kind of hugs her as a virtual man, and I thought she was going to stay in the world and have her virtual man and be kind of running the show. That's not what happened. No. That would have been more interesting to me.
Anything would have been more interesting than how it ended.
The ending got laughs mostly. A little applause.
There was a smattering of laughter.
She's being chased by all these,
red suited goons that look like they're changing sodas out of a vending machine.
They're just like what's Hugo Weaving in The Matrix, It's just like that.
Also, that sort of visual's been exhausted by then. I didn't need to see it as a car chase.
We saw it again. Yeah, we'd already seen
the whole thing.
Yeah.
When she gets to the top of the mountain, there's all this talk about, don't go beyond this point. You can't see what's going on beyond this point. And by the end, you get it, because beyond that point is reality.
Yeah, waking up from the
But
VR.
you could have at least, all she really does is get to the top of this mountain, then press her face up against a window. like you could have shown us something else up there, like some other inner sanctum of like a portal. You know,
I thought that as a portal was weird.
It was weird.
It didn't quite work. You know,
It looked like a
what
sound
did y'all
bath.
think? It was like, I was like, well, surely they were like, you did it. You went to the portal. And I was like, that was the portal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Like,
cool building, but
It was like a cool building that when they got there to shoot, they realized they couldn't get in. Like they didn't have the
That's what it seemed
They didn't
like,
have the
yeah.
permits to get in, so they're like, oh, we have to fucking, figure this out on the fly.
just push yourself up against the window, Florence.
It was so
It was not satisfying. It's
No.
like, at least if you like fall into a pool or ring a doorbell or something, I don't know. But she like just put her hands up against the glass of this building.
It's not cool.
It was weird.
Not cool. I mean, you have so many ingredients. You have Nick Kroll come into play. Like you have so much. You have Harry Styles, superstar. What do you do? Like, anyway. Let's go to them fucking darling bones. Hot takes. Brother Bishke, you are first to bone.
First to bone.
Well, when last we saw Olivia Wilde direct, it was Booksmart.
Hell yeah.
And that was a pretty enjoyable first feature. I think I gave it 2.5 and showed a lot of potential. And then I think I read in this one, because she's with Harry Styles now, I guess, and she's like
Not officially.
I don't know. All the gossip, some of the gossip I read is like she was gone from the set off of Harry, and Pugh had to direct some of the movie.
Very weird.
That sounds plausible, because this movie just doesn't have like someone kind of holding it together. I don't know. We've seen it all before.
Yeah.
I got some bone shards for it. I'll throw it half a bone for the production design and cinematography. I thought it was excellent.
Sure.
I'll throw it half a bone for Florence Pugh. Am I saying that right, or is it Pugh?
I think it's Pugh.
Okay. Florence Pugh. And then I'll throw it half a bone for
Incel Harry?
Just the concept, and Incel Harry, but
Yes.
just the entire concept. Like, it has the ingredients.
Yes.
It should be much better than it is if it was fleshed out screenplay wise, but it just got ridiculous. And so all that adds up to 1.5 bones.
1.5 from Brother Bishke. Glued the shards together.
That's all I got for Don't Worry, Darling.
Watch Mistress Millie.
It's
Did you like the music?
I was
the music.
like, oh my
yeah.
God, I know we're going to look back and it's going to just be the season of the
And it's White Lotus music.
Yeah.
it's anyway.
Jordan
but-
Peele, yeah.
Yeah, it was no, I didn't love it, but it was fine. I think the problem is like certain things I want to see over and over and over and over again. Like I want Jane Austen me to death. Tell me the tale, tell it to me many times.
Right.
But I don't want to see this tale again, because part of what the problem is that this tale is supposed to be a surprise, a revelation, and that's what makes it fun. And I've seen it so many times. It's not a surprise. It's not a revelation. It is just so boring. And that being said, yes, I get it. It's like, it makes sense that it was like her husband would like want to be in this, simulation where he's the star.
And that's what's going on now. It's like, that's what Make America Great Again is hearkening, like wanting and lusting for this time where the woman is serving you.
And there's something to that, but the
There's
heart
something huge
of
to that, but that's
was
not
not explored.
They don't explore it.
It relied on just this old sort of well-worn path. It didn't sort of link it to now as well as it should have. Maybe they should have spent more time in the present. I don't know. It didn't work. I'm going to give it a little bit of a higher. I'm going to give it a bone for the acting in Florence and all the acting in general. And I did like the production design. I mean, it looked really good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with 2 bones.
2 bones for the lodge mistress. Something tells me the hothead isn't going to be as sweet.
Yeah, I was very taken by like the first, few minutes, because it's so well produced and crafted and well directed. I mean, Olivia Wilde definitely knows how to shoot and cut sequences together, and the sound design and score was just all going for broke, like swinging for the fences. But then, yeah, like 20 minutes in, you're like, okay, like what are we waiting for here? Like we gotta kind of have something that has to have to happen.
And that's what some of the youngsters coming out of the theater were saying too. They're like, I liked it, but it took too long for anything to happen.
Yeah, you kind of get your vibe or sense of the place pretty quick. So yeah, all we're really left with is like a bummer of a hangout movie. Yeah, where she just keeps freaking out. And like by the very end, like I just kind of knew where it was headed. I didn't need to see the revelation or resolution. I just kind of wanted to get out of there. And then like it just kept going and going. And then like just when you think something's about to happen, it's like, oh, they zap her and now she's back to normal, sort of, but not really. And it's like, it's just exhausting because you just want to get out of there. And I don't think that was a conscious choice, like on Olivia Wilde's part, to make us experience her same kind of trauma. You know, I think she just kind of got too invested in the end or the twist, and thinking like, look, if I make it really visually, viscerally, entertaining or stunning, like I can lead you down this path to the twist, and I can make it work. Which is a choice, right? It's a bold choice. It's a risk that she took, but like it doesn't pay off because when you finally do break out of the world so abruptly, where for a couple minutes we're like, wait a second, like is this like the flashback of like before? And then you're like, oh my god! And again, when she gets home and we see Harry Styles looking like an imprisoned computer hacker at the start of some movie where like the government bails him out, and then he like gets his hair cut or whatever and shave. You start to ask, a lot more questions, and they're never going to get answered. No. And you don't really want to ask too many because, like, then it's just kind of, none of it like really works. You're kind of just like, what? Like this, none of this really makes any sense.
How many bones though?
At all. I'm on Brother Bishy's wavelength tonight. I'm feeling this is a solid 1.5 bones.
1.5. All right.
I want to interject something really quick, which is it is a bummer movie. And when you start to think about it, it's even more of a freaking bummer than you think, because it's like she wakes up and she is restrained.
Yeah.
And she has bruises and she's got these high things on.
And her dead husband next to her.
Next to a dead man.
How the hell does she get out? She just wakes up and dies.
In some weird flop house with a bunch of deadbolts on the door.
It's like even more depressing that she gets out of there. I mean, anyway, just throwing that out there.
She never made it. The sequel is just her struggling in her restraints and slowly dying.
It's terrible.
In IMAX.
Harry Styles' corpse. But I restrained next to her.
You're so much more incel Harry Styles.
Yes.
I will say one last thing before I pass it on to you, Lodge Master, too, is I think the other mistake that Olivia Wilde kind of painted herself into a corner is tonally, when you have this kind of movie, you kind of really want to go for the psychological thriller aspect as opposed to the like dramatic Oscar-worthy performance or whatever you think you're going for, because you're trying to have your cake and eat it too, where you treat the movie so seriously, and then it just hard cuts to the like incel Harry Styles. Like, how do you expect us to take this? You know what I mean? Like, of course 30% of the audience is going to burst into laughter because it's just so funny to see him like as a schlub.
It's fucking amazing.
with his tilted monitor.
Full bone for me for incel Harry. Full bone. I might even go 1.5 bones for incel Harry. That made me so happy, and to see him with his vertical monitor next to his other monitor.
Right.
Yeah. Very satisfying.
I love it.
Such a weird detail.
And he has like an open Wheaties box. Like, I wanted so much more of that. I didn't want just flashes of that. And it's just missed opportunity here. Like, I feel like we only saw a few houses and they went shopping. Like, we need more of them out and about. And she can see weird stuff. Like, there's just so much left on the table with this. I feel like the concept is ripe, especially after the twist, where it's like, of course, these fucking incels would love to force women into these roles and like actually live it out. You could do so much with that. And it's so current. and you could skewer the shit out of it.
Yeah, imagine going to the real world and Chris Pine is like Harry Knowles or something.
Fucking
you know,
love
I kept
it.
thinking we were going to see him.
Yeah, how did you not see?
We should have seen
I want
all
to
of
see
it.
everybody.
I did not see,
All
like,
of that should have
the
happened.
head of the incels, like in his like throne of monitors, like.
And you could see all these dapper gentlemen just like
Yes.
getting together and being like, "What the fuck? Hey guys, what the fuck are we gonna
That
do?"
would be great.
Oh, there's so.
I mean, the reveal should have happened sooner, and then we could have done
Yes.
the Handmaid's
Yes, you could
Tale.
have explored that for a
sort of
whole
half
hour.
of this, half
yeah,
of that
her
thing.
and the new wives have to band together to get
Yeah.
out of Victoryville.
And then somebody could have come and unstrapped her at the
yes,
end.
please.
and give us that Jacob's Ladder Insane Asylum hallway like sequence.
That's a full bone and a half for Incel Harry, and I can't just leave the cinematography out in the cold, so I got to give a half bone for that. That's two not very overwhelming bones for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not going to recommend this to anybody.
No.
Nah.
I got about 20 movies like it.
I would recommend Jacob's Ladder. That's my go-to.
Notice
fave.
like there's a huge twist in this, and we don't give a fuck if we're spoiling it for you. Like
Yeah.
if you've wandered into this and now you don't want to see the movie, you're welcome. Like you don't need to. You don't need to. Just when it gets out and about on streaming, find yourself the clips of Incel Harry, and you will be pleased. You'll get you'll get all the nutrients you need.
Just
from
fast forward to the twist.
it. Fast forward. Oh, so much that could have been done. Anyway, the company was 4 bones.
Always, yes.
Love seeing it in IMAX with you guys today.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's finally done.
The drama,
It is done. This too shall pass.
Yes. The drama's over.
the gossip will continue, but
Thank you, Lodge Mistress, for joining us.
Oh,
yes, thank
yeah.
you very much.
Don't worry, darling. Love and light.
Love and light.
I see the clouds that move across the sky. I see the wind that moves the clouds away. It moves the clouds over by the building. I pick the building that I want to live in. I smell the pine trees and the peaches in the woods. I see the pine cones that fall by the highway. That's the highway that goes to the building. I pick the building that I want to live in. It's over there, it's over there. My building has every convenience. It's gonna make life easy for me. It's gonna be easy to get things done. I will relax along with my loved ones. Loved ones, visit the building, take the highway, walk and come up and see me. I'll be working, but if you come visit, I'll put down what I'm doing. My friends are important. I wouldn't worry about me. It wouldn't worry about me. Don't you worry about me. Don't you worry about me.
Jordan Peterson.